All right, and for more now on the State of the Nation address tomorrow, we joined in studio now by research professor at the University of Johannesburg in the Faculty of Business Management, Professor Kwandiwe Kondlo. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
All right, first, let's just get an understanding of the importance of the State of the Nation address. We know that that's basically to sort of set the tone and the agenda and provide perhaps direction for government service delivery plans.
Yes, the State of the Nation address, basically. In fact, you can even look at the State of the Nation addresses before 1994. It's an opportunity for the head of state to report on progress government has made and also on challenges. But most importantly, there's a third element where the head of state actually delivers an inspiring message of hope to build national unity and solidarity. In fact, many presidents use the State of the Nation addresses to mark their own specific tenures as heads of state.
Basically to take stock.
In other words, if you remember President Mbeki's State of the Nation addresses, all we could take, you see, was that he was a Renaissance man, you see. With President Mandela, he would deliver, but the main message you'd get from his address was that he's a nation builder, you see. So this is also an opportunity for President Ramaphosa to say something South Africans can remember him about.
Let's just talk about the Ramaforia that was created when President Ramaphosa took over. I mean, a lot of South Africans were hopeful that South Africa is now taking the correct and the right direction. But some people now are starting to lose hope and say that Ramaforia is slowly disappearing.
Yes, Ramaforia was basically really an excitement at a particular moment. Yes. And remember, the particular moment which gave rise to Ramaforia was the eclipsing of President Zuma's administration. Mr. Zuma had gotten to a point whereby many South Africans were actually frustrated by him being head of state. So the Ramaforia came in that context. Besides that, there was also hope that when Cyril becomes president, a lot of changes are going to happen very quickly. And unfortunately, with government, things don't change suddenly, just like that.
That is why you have some people who say that it's still a bit too early to start judging President Ramaphosa on what he has delivered on as it is now, because it's a bit difficult to address what has happened over the past 10 years or so.
I wouldn't say it's too early. It's no longer too early. There are, of course, clear indicators on the basis of which we can start appreciating and also criticizing President Ramaphosa. Yes, he has not finished his first 5 years, but there's a lot to say and there's a lot to be concerned about his administration.
All right, so what's your take on what the EFF's leader Julius Malema was saying over the weekend, saying that, listen, really there isn't much that President Cyril Ramaphosa has done as the president of the country?
Partially correct, because really President Ramaphosa is heading a whole system which is so huge and also connected to global political economic factors. It's not easy to just quickly change things within government. It's going to take quite some time and quite some effort. But up to so far, really, President Ramaphosa hasn't really been the kind of, some people actually thought he would be a magic man, you see, because unemployment is continuing to grow. The economy is just not improving. So there's just a lot which is not happening as expected to save ordinary South Africans from poverty and serious unemployment.
Do you personally believe that this is going to be one of the most difficult State of the Nation address for any president? You've made mention of the fact that our economy is struggling, the state of our SOEs in the country, the unemployment rate remaining unchanged at 29.1%. So is it going to be a difficult one for the president tomorrow?
I think it's going to be a difficult State of the Nation address. It's going to be difficult in the sense that, you see, you've got to take stock of achievements. And up to so far, there is very little that his administration has achieved, you see. Instead, there are more challenges that are actually facing the country. It's going to be quite difficult for him to find an acceptable balance the audience would like to hear.
Expectations are very high, are they not? We've just had a story now out of
Alexandra
where residents are saying that the president a year ago promised to deliver houses, but that hasn't happened in Alexandra. You have the business sector now saying that he's got to take hard decisions tomorrow. He's got to make some urgent pronouncements on far-reaching economic structural reforms and also how to grow the South African economy. So expectations from across the board.
Yes, expectations are actually very high. That's why it's important now that I think they need to relook how the State of the Nation address is crafted. Because I remember from my time in government, you see, the State of the Nation address is actually based on inputs from the various government departments. That's why you find that the report tends to be so long and unwieldy at times. Yes. If they could change it so that the State of the Nation address is more focused on key achievements and key priorities, and most importantly, a message needed to unify the nation.
But those priorities, are they not known to the president already? Remember that during the thank you rally after the elections, he was saying that South Africans are tired of promises now. What they want is service delivery. They are tired of saying Tumamina. They want the government to khawuleza now.
Yes, the priorities are quite many. That's why I'm saying if the government could focus on key priorities. He has indicated, for instance, in the previous State of the Nation address, that he has 7 priorities. Yeah. And 5 objectives and goals. I would expect him to focus on the 7 priorities in the present State of the Nation address, you see, and the 5 goals. What has happened to deliver on the 7 priorities? And how far are we from realizing the 5 goals that he indicated in the previous State of the Nation address, rather than going through the broad sweep of whatever government is doing?
All right, Prof, time constraints. We wait and see what happens tomorrow and what comes out of that speech. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you, Phyllis.
All right, well, there you have it. That's Professor Kwandiwe Kondlo. He is a professor at the University of Johannesburg, talking to us about what to expect tomorrow during the State of the Nation address by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Peter?